Holding a frequency. We are the Pleiadean High Council of Seven, and we are pleased to offer you our words of wisdom. Harmonizing with the frequency takes you to a very interesting place in your creative process. You can either continue to play in that frequency state or you can build upon it. Either way, you are in the act of creation as you harmonize with a particular frequency. When you sustain a frequency, the energy around you has more life force within it. You gather more of a similar energy, and therefore it is easier to make something of it. It is easier to create with a singular frequency that you hold for as long as you possibly can than it is to create by continually increasing your frequency or in shifting from one frequency to another. There is a momentum that builds when you maintain a particular frequency, and that momentum solidifies the energy. The solidification creates. It puts you in alignment with a particular reality, and then, from that new place that you find yourself in, you can create anew. You can create something different, something that you've never experienced before. So we suggest that you start with one frequency. Let us say that you want to create with a frequency of joy. Holding the frequency of joy for as long as you can is not complicated or complex, but it can be challenging. You tend to want to move to another frequency or to continue to increase the frequency of the joy that you are feeling. But if you can sustain it, if you can maintain that frequency, and if you can feel the energy building and the momentum that is created, you can give yourself a visceral experience of the creative process, and that will build even more momentum as you see the evidence of what you have done. And as you create and enjoy and then experience that creation, you harmonize with yourself as a creator being, and that brings you closer to the frequency of Source. Your physical symptoms. In the discovery of a symptom in your physical body, you often then attempt to look at the past or the future of that symptom. You want to know how it came to be, and you want to know where it is ultimately going. These types of questions take you from the experience of it. They take you out of the present moment, and in many ways they are attempts to disassociate from the symptom itself. Your physical symptoms are guides. They are asking you to feel and to explore the feeling that you have on a deeper level. So let us say that you are feeling pain in a certain part of your body. The pain, as a physical sensation, is likely to trigger an emotional response. The emotional response is there because of something that you haven't been paying attention to in your life, something that you've been attempting to avoid and haven't wanted to face. So the physical symptom is a wake-up call to something else. When you are willing to feel your physical symptom rather than medicate it, and you are willing to feel your emotional response rather than running away from it, you have everything that you need then to allow this physical symptom to move through you and to no longer be a part of your experience. As you allow the physical symptom and the emotional response to be what they are, you also have the opportunity to show yourself some love and some compassion. So if the physical symptom is causing you to slow down and to take better care of yourself, then it is serving you in the way as well. When you love and nurture yourself through these physical hiccups, you give yourself something that only you can give you. Only you can choose to take better care of yourself. And as you show yourself more love and compassion, you also eliminate the need to create more scenarios for yourself to be in physical pain or to have some other physical ailment. Your symptoms are your blessings in disguise, for they awaken you to something deeper than the needs to occur within you. And when you give yourself what you need, they quiet down and become silent. Do no harm. Because there is no sense of relief that is achieved by getting even with someone else, it never serves you to harm another. There is no real satisfaction that is accomplished or achieved by extracting revenge, no matter how much the other person deserves it. Even if another person creates karma with you, you have the ability to rise above the pettiness, to be the bigger person, and to forgive and let go of what has been done. Getting involved in any act of vengeance only lowers your vibration, and if you feel what you feel while doing it, you will notice that you are getting the guidance to stop before you start. You cannot harm another without harming yourself. You cannot even speak poorly or with disdain about another person without harming yourself. Now, that being said, you can feel anger and hate in response to something that someone has done. Feeling and acting upon are not the same thing. We encourage you to feel your emotions, but only to act from the ones that feel good. If you are feeling anything other than neutral or positive energy flowing through you, then you are not in an appropriate place to even decide what action to take. You are not going to harm yourself with mere thoughts of revenge. They will help you to get in touch with the emotions that you need to get in touch with to clear yourself of the situation. But you never need to act upon anything that feels bad as you consider it. Just as peace is not achieved by starting a war, inner peace will never be achieved by doing harm to another. When you rise above the need to even think of a thought that is negative and aimed at another individual, you have achieved mastery. And when you achieve mastery, you take yourself out of the victim-perpetrator dichotomy, and that is when you graduate into becoming a creator being. You are divine beings. As soon as you recognize your divinity, you begin to see the divine in every other being. You recognize that each being that you encounter is not only an aspect of Source, but he or she is also an aspect of you as Source. There is no greater realization than this. There is no greater knowledge than this. There is nothing more that is necessary once you recognize it. You do not see yourself as a separate, egoic entity when you make this recognition, and therefore surrender is much easier. We know that surrender is a trigger word for many of you, but what we are suggesting that you surrender to is your divine nature and the order of all things in the universe. So when you accept that things are how they are because they benefit you and all things being the most, surrender is no longer a dirty word. It no longer implies giving up, and then you can relax. Then you can let go of needing anything to be different than what it is. You can let every other being exist exactly as they are, and you can accept and love yourself in the now moment. There's nothing more that you need to become in order to surrender to this realization. It is a simple matter of awareness. What awareness are you holding out of yourself? How do you see yourself in a relationship to the universe? When you are embodying your divine self and allowing others to be their divine selves, you can begin to create as a whole being with other whole beings, none of whom are in competition with one another. All that is will return to its natural state of being, which is unconditional love. And each of us who are in its components will either go willingly or kicking and screaming. We all get to decide, and the sooner we accept our divinity and the divinity of all others, the shorter the trip home. You are masters. If you have a particular area of your life that causes you pain and suffering, and you are more than just a little fed up with that area of your life, then we have some good news for you. Those areas of your life that have presented the greatest challenges to you are also the areas of your life where you are most determined to develop mastery. You set yourself on a particular journey that you did because you wanted to achieve a level of mastery that you had never achieved previously in any lifetime. These challenges, these struggles, they have not been in vain. They are very much leading you towards a breakthrough, and on the other side of that breakthrough is a recognition of self. Once you realize that you have achieved mastery over this most challenging area in your life, you will know yourselves as the creator of every circumstance that led you to that mastery. You will see how all of the pieces fit, and you will revel in your personal success. You will triumphantly look at all the hurdles and all the obstacles and see how strategically placed them there because you wanted to stretch yourself even further. And that is something that only a master would do. That is how a master reveals to him or herself what you truly are. You are not here to learn lessons or to prove your self-worthiness. You are here to demonstrate to yourself that you are masters and nothing could possibly elude you. And so now many of you are wondering when your breakthrough will occur. And we say to you that it will occur the moment you recognize that you have all the answers within you, that you already are the master, and that this game that you are playing could be a lot more fun if you allowed yourselves to lighten up and relax. Your highest good. There needs to be absolutely no second guessing involved when you are moving towards something that serves your highest good. You need not wonder whether you are moving in the right direction or taking the right steps, because everything is serving your highest good. It is your perception of reality that creates the idea of good or bad, that creates the concept of right and the concept of wrong. But there is none of that from the highest perspective, and therefore none of you needs saving. And all you're doing quite well. It is only when you judge something that you create the dichotomy that then necessitates a certain outcome. Begin to understand that your place here is one of continued exploration and experimentation, and that you are not graduating because you have all the right answers now. You are simply moving towards that which gives you the opportunity for greater expansion through new experiences. So you are not being tested, and you never have been. You are in fact deciding what experiences to give yourself next, and all these experiences are going to serve your highest good. As you experience anything, different aspects of who you are get activated. These aspects are then either accepted or rejected into the whole of who you are. The more times you reject an aspect of yourself, the more times you will need to create a circumstance to get you in touch with that aspect. The sooner you are willing to engage with and embrace every aspect of who you are, the sooner you can move on to have more experience. And the reason for that is simple. You and your expansion is what this is all about. Expansion occurs as a result of experience, and therefore all experience could be considered good if we are going to judge. In order to know yourselves more completely, you need to have as many experiences as possible. And that is why no one cares what you create. All that anyone cares about in the higher realms is that you continue to create. And what is beautiful about your expansion is that the more of you that you include in the creation process, the more consciously you do it. We are the Pleiadean High Council of Seven, and we are very fond of all of you. And that is all.